What's going on, guys? Oh my Godzilla, back with a very exciting Godzilla figure review. Guys, we're taking a look today at, from Playmates Toys, our Godzilla Evolved figure from the upcoming movie Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire. Definitely excited to take a look at this new version of Godzilla. Obviously, we took a look at the giant size Godzilla Evolved just recently, but this is the 6-inch figure. A few more figures to kind of compare him to in his size line. Guys, definitely looking forward to this one. Guys, without further ado, let's jump right in. And I did quickly want to give you guys a quick peek at what he looked like inside the packaging. So jumping back in time, here is what he looked like chilling inside the packaging. Tail was attached separately. And guys, I of course did want to give you a chance to see the bottom of the packaging. Go ahead and snag that barcode if you need it. You can screenshot this at this point. Go ahead and screenshot that barcode. Bring that photo into your Walmart, your Target, wherever you like to go. I think those are the two stores that are really going to be carrying these guys, as far as I know. So bring it into Walmart or Target. Have the employee scan that barcode with their device. And guys, they'll be able to tell you if this figure is coming in to the if it's in their store, if it's coming into their store anytime soon, or if any stores nearby you have it. So happy hunting on your Godzilla Evolved. Alrighty, guys, we are back here with our Godzilla Evolved. I want to go ahead and quickly take a look first at just his atomic breath or heat ray blast, whatever you wish to call it. It's really cool how they did the shape of it. It's different from the. It's not just like a repaint, resculpt of last time's the Godzilla versus Kong one. Definitely different. A different shape entirely. And on that note, kind of a more inefficient shape, as you can tell. It's got these little side pieces that kind of come out of it, kind of just fill the sides of his mouth, which is a good idea in theory. But the angle at which they did this is super weird and makes it kind of awkward. Sometimes that one went in pretty smooth, but sometimes it makes it really awkward to get that piece into his mouth, so it's a little bit wonky. But once it's in there, it does look pretty good. I do like how they have those kind of side pieces. I kind of wish instead of pointing down, kind of looking like they're drooling out, they were kind of just filling the sides of his mouth. But it is cool that they did that, guys. So definitely like the translucentness that they chose for this piece. Nice translucent, as you can tell. Translucent pinkish red. And it definitely works. Watermelon Jolly Rancher flavor is what the vibes it's giving me. And guys, in terms of our figures, detail, paint, and whatnot, paint is going to be okay. Just kind of like this grayish, blue, greenish. I don't know the proper exact scientific name for that color, but it looks fine. Detail on the legs is fine. The toe claws are actually painted fairly well. They chose a bit of a weird, not the prettiest color to use for them, but a pretty, the paint on the toe claws is pretty accurate. So that's to be appreciated. Detail on the feet's fine. Moving up the legs. The texture is pretty solid moving throughout these. They did a pretty good job giving us some pretty decent detail, especially considering, keep in mind, guys, on this figure, this is a $10 figure, so, the world is not to be expected from him. But I think the leg detail looks pretty good. Moving into kind of the crotch area looks pretty decent detail-wise. More texture throughout there. Kind of that classic, legendary Godzilla detail on the stomach. Could have obviously done a little bit more, made it a little nicer, but it's fine, all things considered. Arms are looking pretty good. Detail is great. I think the hand claws, are a little not as pointy as I wish they were. Look a little kind of just nubbiny and not as good as they should. And then an unfortunate detail is the added weaponry. His elbow spikes are not colored, but the texture on them is there, and the texture and detail on the arms actually looks really great. Moving into kind of the back of his body, but not the spines, a little lazy on the detail. They definitely, you can definitely tell that the arms and legs are textured a lot better. We still have some kind of throughout the body, but it is not quite as good as those arms and legs, unfortunately. But the spines, guys, at least on the back, look absolutely gorgeous. I love this color. I've definitely come around to the color of the new color, the new shape. I'm definitely pretty much a fan of these spines at this point, and they did a great job on these. I think you can see that they have great detail and texture on all of them. Looks phenomenal, and just the fact that they're so nice and translucent looks really just great. I think they did a great job on the spines, on the main body, of course. In typical every company ever's fashion, top of the head and the entirety of the tail does not get the same love and attention as the kind of translucent awesomeness. If that was top to bottom, that would just be phenomenal. But unfortunately, it is not. Speaking about the tail, though, it does look good. The detail and texture is pretty solid. Color's the weakest part. Paint's definitely a little lax. But the texture and detail actually looks phenomenal, I think. Underside of the tail looks fine. Definitely very acceptable there. And I think everything from, where the real spines and little, kind of segmented chunks come in, It looks really great. I love this detail. The tops of the spines look great. I think they did a good job on the detail here. And then I really am loving just the fact that the whole design fact that Godzilla has these amazing, like, Stegosaurus weapons on his tail. And I really, really, like I've said in the other videos where we've seen these guys, I really hope he gets to use those to inflict some serious damage on somebody here in the movie. That's just too cool of a weapon for him to not utilize, I think. So definitely, I'm very impressed with the detail, actually, overall on the tail. I think it's very good. But I do wish I got that translucent treatment that the remaining body did. Guys, moving into the kind of whole head chunk, neck and head that we have here. Detail is fine. I think they did a pretty good job kind of capturing the detail throughout the, giving them the spines, his little gills in there. So the neck actually looks pretty good. The head spikes look fine. They are acceptable, I guess. The face is, it's okay. From the side, it looks passable enough for a $10 figure. I'd be forgiving. I do have some orange paint kind of smeared. I don't know if that was from something that rubbed it or if they mispainted. Pupils are kind of just thrown in there. And from the front, there you go. Teeth could be worse, but they could also be a heck of a lot better. We do have a little bit of a detailed painted tongue in there. Top of the mouth just obviously has the hole for the atomic heat ray. But those teeth, the teeth and eyes definitely do leave a pretty solid amount to be desired, which is unfortunate because it's such a, it's such a focal point of a figure. You just, you automatically hone in on the face. So for it to be semi-underwhelming, it's a little disappointing, but it's not that bad. Like, again, these teeth could look a heck of a lot worse. Like I said, they definitely could look better, but they could be so much worse. Like, this figure looks passable. You set him at a distance like that. He looks passable for, for a $10 figure. I'm not going to be too aggressive about that. Guys, articulation on our Godzilla Evolved, starting down at the bottom. We do have that ankle articulation. Interesting piece there. So we do get 360 on the ankle. In terms of that leg, that's about as far as we'll go back, and that's about as far as we'll go forward. He kind of just sits right there in that locked shape. Tail, guys, that piece did come separate, so obviously it can go up, down, side to side. It also can pop off pretty easily, so be sure you really get it in there. But even then, it does kind of seem to pop off fairly easy. Fortunately, it means it does pop on pretty easily. But I wouldn't articulate your tail too much because then you're going to start getting some of that beautifulness on your figure. So avoid too much tail articulation. Arms, you can get the 360. You got to kind of pull them away from the body so you don't scrape that leg, but you can get the 360 out of the arms. Head is actually, guys, fixed. We don't get articulation on the head. I know it looks like it. I thought at first that we might, but nothing there. And we do get a little tiny bit of jaw articulation. Doesn't want to stay completely closed, though. You can see that jaw hinge is doing something, but not quite doing its full job. But so we do get the mouth articulation, which is nice, but I wish we did get that head articulation, and it would have been nice to, get, I guess I can't do it because of the spines, but it would have been nice to get a little torso articulation somehow in there. Sit back and relax because I got a ton of figures to compare this guy to, guys. First one I wanted to compare him to side by side really quick is just the battle playset version. Just show you the quick differences. Really, the only difference is going to be same exact sculpt. Really, the only difference is going to be you do have that blue kind of chest painted to make this figure kind of the exclusive figure. So that's going to be the exact same thing. The atomic breath is also going to be the same. Here is our Battle Roar Godzilla. So similar to the Godzilla versus Kong stuff, the Battle Roar figures are about an inch taller, give or take, than these guys. Or at least they're marketed as such. Normally they seem to be marketed as like 7-inch figures, whereas the standards are marketed as about 6. So there is your Battle Roar size comparison. And Shimo. This is the brand new figure also from Playmates Toys, the Shimo. Just wanted to kind of show you that size comparison. Again, I have no idea how screen accurate this is going to be because we have not seen Shimo in any of our trailers yet. But there's how the toys line up. Guys, the next figure I wanted to compare him to is actually the older figure. This is the figure from Godzilla vs. Kong. The Godzilla, the first one we got with the heat ray there. So obviously vastly different heat ray. I think the size, I think the shape kind of and texture of the new one is definitely an improvement. And I think the figure is done fairly well overall too. Just kind of comparing. We do have those fun translucent spines again. So they continued that kind of little gimmick thing. We do have that little funny random articulation on the ankle. So it's cool that they translated kind of those good parts over. But I think they kind of improved a little bit on some of their detail and texture. We did get good detailing and texture on the arms and legs again on this guy. Fairly similar height, fairly similar derpy faces. The Evolved does have a little bit of a height advantage, which I'm wondering if they're going to confirm in the movie whether Godzilla physically grows taller. I'm definitely curious as to finding out that piece of information. But this is the Playmates Godzilla with Heat Ray from Godzilla vs. Kong. Next figure I want to do a size comparison to is the Bandai from Godzilla vs. Kong. Hoping we get a Bandai figure for the Godzilla Evolved. I definitely think Bandai could do a cool version for that. But I just wanted to kind of show you the heights changes on the Bandai figure from the last movie. Godzilla's new BFF Kong. This is the brand new Kong with that beast glove. Here's how they're going to kind of line up in height. I'm wondering if they're going to actually be this close. I guess we did see that one shot of them, but they were kind of running and doing. So I couldn't quite tell how exactly tall they are going to be compared to one another. But here is our Playmates Kong with that beast glove. Here is the height for Scar King. Guys, again, I'm not sure how tall. Again, I'm not sure the height differences in these two. I kind of am hoping Scar King's taller than Godzilla just because I like the bad guys. To actually be able to tower over our good guys makes them a little more intimidating. But obviously, in the Playmates world, Scar King is not going to do that to Godzilla Evolved. And just for the heck of it, I wanted to show him off next to the SH Monster Arts. This is the Godzilla from Godzilla vs. Kong. So, you know, if you stand Godzilla upright, they're going to be pretty similar sizes, which makes sense because they're both marketed as basically 6-inch figures. So there's going to be our sizing there. Again, SH Monster Arts, another one I am hoping throws their hat in the ring and does a design of Godzilla Evolved. But here's how our most recent MonsterVerse Goji lines up against the new Playmates. And the big bad Haya Toys. This is the reissued version of Godzilla from Godzilla vs. Kong. So there is that height size. Again, Haya Toys kind of markets their figures as more of like a 7-inch size. So that obviously is why our Godzilla is going to be a little taller than our Playmates here. So there's your Haya Toys versus Playmates. And here's a look at our Godzilla Evolved with our Godzilla with Heat Ray, but from the new movie. So they did give us a pre-evolved Godzilla. And first thing I want to take a quick peek at, guys, is the differences on these atomic breaths. This is a new atomic breath. This is a new atomic breath. So two different atomic breaths. It's interesting they just did not decide to just give us the exact same thing we had for Godzilla versus Kong. I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they gave us something new and fun. So that's cool. And then obviously there's the new one. But I just wanted to quickly run by the two figures. So obviously the Godzilla Evolved is clocking in tiny bit taller. Like I said, I don't know if that's going to be a thing in the movie. We will see, but obviously we can see our big differences in the spines. The arms get a little longer. He gets a lot thinner. And of course, the tail weapons, the elbow weapons, all sorts of differences. But it is cool that Playmates did give us a pre-evolved Godzilla. So this is, I assume this is what Godzilla is going to look like when he takes on Shimo the first time. And maybe my theory is that he's going to take on Shimo, get frozen in his icy breath, and that is where he's going to do his evolving. But we will see. But it is cool that Playmates gave us the pre-evolved Godzilla. Alrighty, guys, so this has been our Godzilla Evolved figure review from Playmates Toys in the upcoming movie Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. What are your thoughts on this figure? Again, what are your thoughts on the Godzilla redesign for Godzilla Evolved? I'm coming around to it a lot. I think Playmates might have kind of overdone the skinniness of Godzilla. I think check out the Jada Toys video I did. I think they got his proportions a little bit better. He looks a little slimmer, but not quite so like aggressively like just out of nowhere thin. So I've definitely come around to everything else. I love the new weapons. I immediately loved the elbow spikes. I immediately loved the tail spikes. I never had a problem with the recoloring of Godzilla. No problem with that. It's fun to get a new redesign. You know, we got Godzilla -1 for kind of more, you know, realistic Godzilla lore, and we got the MonsterVerse just to have some fun, guys. So I hope you guys are able to track this figure down. Again, use that barcode I showed you in the beginning of the video. But let me know your thoughts on this figure in the comment section below, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more, and we'll see you in the next one.